Let's continue and take some phone calls. Some of you have been on hold for a very long time. Some of our earliest topics, but we'll circle back to there. Let's go to Bruce, who's calling in Colorado. Bruce, you're on the air.
My question and concern was about how Joe Biden's playing politics with supporting Israel. And, it's jeopardizing the rescue of American citizens who are being held hostage by Hamas. And what I'm wondering is, how, like what they're doing now, going after Donald Trump with lawsuits after he came out of office. I'm wondering, is this setting up Joe Biden to be dragged into court for playing politics with the lives of these individuals, the families who bring a lawsuit against him for it?
Bruce, I think that the situation with Trump in court or the impeachments that have happened reset the game to where we now have a situation where we do have to side collectively as a country, not just Democrats, what game we're playing. Are we going to be a country that really takes our political opponents to court, throws them in prison for speech we don't like? Now, certainly, if there are situations that are deemed essentially war crimes, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I'm not saying there should be no accountability, but we do have to figure out where that bar is and where that standard is, because the standard for impeachment got lowered, and it appears that President Biden has done something what you'd consider, quote unquote, impeachable. Now, would that have been the standard 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Maybe not.
I also think it's important to really look at what's going on within the party and within the court system. And I think that Mark Levin over the weekend said that Biden better hope that the Supreme Court takes some of the heat off of the immunity case that we have that we heard just a week or so ago that was argued before the Supreme Court, because there's a long list of things. If you lower the bar of what's now criminal against a former president, then it's going to be on repeat, and it's going to keep getting worse. And President Biden will have a laundry list of things that, when you look at it through the lens that they looked at former President Trump, could look criminal because of the actions that you take as President of the United States.
So the question is going to be how we respond. Do you go, that's not the game we play here? Or do you engage? I'd love to hear from you in the comments right now. That's a great comment question. What do you think? Do you go low at this point because they've done this? Or do we try to rise to a bigger standard, a better standard in America? I'm not sure we can do that second option, by the way. To fight fire, we may have to fight fire with fire. Let's continue on, though. Don's calling in California, also been on hold for a long time. Don, you're on the air.
Real quickly, what you said earlier about this business about Israel maybe being guilty of war crimes violations. My gosh, everything Hamas is doing is a war crime.
Of course.
Taking hostages, holding people as human shields, that's what makes this casualty count goes. They won't let the civilians. Israel has put up tent cities, right, to let the people evacuate, and Hamas won't let them evacuate. No, you're our human. They're the war criminals. They're the modern SS. It's just unbelievable. I think you guys do a great job at talking about it. I think we need to really leverage all the conservative outlets, whether it's Fox, Newsmax, all the radio shows, to hammer this in every day that we're not the warmongers. They're the warmongers. They're attacking us. It's the same in Ukraine, same in Taiwan. We're just trying to defend people fighting for their freedom. Hamas is a cancer, and you can't take part of the cancer. You got to cut out all the cancer.
Yep, exactly. And look, the problem with, you're right, with the mainstream media right now is they're spending all of their entire day covering Trump trials, whether that's, by the way, Fox or MSNBC or CNN, whatever the mainstream media, because they think that's what's going to get the ratings. Sadly, they may be right. That's what gets the ratings. But what I would hope is that broadcasts like ours can actually bring you what's actually happening in the world that actually matters to you. Okay, that's what we want to do here. We want to fight for the 9-year-old who's getting their Bible verse Easter eggs taken away, and we want to go fight when necessary all around the world to protect religious freedom and freedom of speech, and not get bogged down in this entertainment news phenomenon that we live in right now, where they think that's what you want. We know that is not what our audience wants, and I'm going to give you also not only what you want, but what we think is important for you, and that's what we do here at the ACLJ. We're going to continue on. Greg on YouTube, you're on the air, line 4.
with the senators coming against the Biden administration on this, like Senator Graham and others, do you think that they'll cave in to pressure the Biden administration and let that shipment go that Israel needs for the weapons and stuff? Yeah. To go over in Rafah.
It's the mighty dollar and the mighty vote.
It sounds like they're more likely to cave to the campus protesters than they are to Republicans or even some Democrats in the Senate that want aid to Israel. But there is one person, I wanted to highlight this. We probably don't have enough time to play it, but David Cameron in the UK was asked by Sky News about doing a weapons embargo on Israel. Well, let's go ahead and play it by 11.
If you're saying to me, why not have a political declaration now to have an immediate arms embargo? Well, I was pressed to do that a few months ago, and the very next thing that happened just a few days later was a massive Iranian attack on Israel, including 140 cruise missiles. So I don't think it would have been a wise path, and I still don't think it would be a wise path. I mean, if I announced that today, it might help me get through this television interview, but actually it would strengthen Hamas, it would weaken Israel. I think it would probably make a hostage deal less likely. So I don't think some sort of political declaration is the right answer. We should stick with our rigorous process of making sure we act within the law.
That's some pretty strong voices. Thank you, David Cameron. I'm going to say that's a pretty impressive moment there. This is what we were talking about out front, the Eurovision Song Contest. Look at that. I mean, that is in Sweden.
In
Switzerland
front of
won.
The hotel of Eden Golan.
Yeah, so just massive protest. Again, of course, like I said, was one of the ringleaders was Greta Thunberg, which is just honestly trivial. It just shows that now it's no longer about the actual causes they care about. It's just about being sort of a leftist. And a leftist has to be, if you're going to be pro-environment, you also have to be anti-Israel. Sadly, that's how she stays relevant. But it is that weird sense of the issues are no longer singular. They all have to tie each other together. You can't be pro, energy efficiency and also support Israel. No, they have to be one or the other. I'm going to encourage you right now. Support the work of the ACLJ. You can do that by a couple different ways. We have a new petition up right now. Sign our petition. We're about to hit 50,000 because the Biden administration clearly seems to be supporting the enemies of Israel and America, by the way. They're by withholding this information, they are propping up a terrorist regime. We need to talk back against them. We need to fight back against them. Sign that petition, aclj.org/sign. And if you're able, help us in these battles financially by making a monthly recurring gift and becoming an ACLJ champion. Over 21,000 of you have, and that is life-changing. Whether that's for the 9-year-old or whether it is for the state of Israel, we are there for you. Go to aclj.org, become an ACLJ champion if you can.